Hi, algebra friends. Okay, here's your big review video for 3.1 to 3.5. This is in preparation for your formative that will be on Friday. And your other really good study tool is going to be that green study guide that we did for the Jenga game in class. I have about one question per topic. I have tried to start recording this video about 100 times, and I've either messed up or someone's come in or I started laughing for God knows why. So this is it. So if I mess up, I'm so sorry, but we're just going to keep going. Okay, here we are. So, topic number one is when you're looking at a verbal expression and then you need to translate it to a mathematical inequality. In this case, we've got all real numbers less than or equal to 11. Whenever you see all real numbers, you just pick a variable to represent that. So we can use t. Less than or equal to, so less than or equal to 11. And that's all that you would need to show me. So you'll have a few that's at the start of your formative. The next topic that you're going to see is when you have a graph and you need to write the inequality that represents it. So right away, we'll start with a variable. It doesn't really matter. We'll choose t again. Because this is a filled in circle, you know that your sign will either be less than or equal to or greater than or equal to. Okay, because this is shading all of the numbers that are greater than -3, so you got 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. 1, 2, 3. We know that our sign is going to be greater than or equal to, and then your target number here, -3. And that's all that you would tell me. Next topic, you are looking at multi-step inequalities. Not only do you need to solve them, but you need to be able to graph your solution. This is very similar to multi-step equations. You just have an inequality sign. So let's go ahead and start solving. Don't forget that this is our distributive property. So we multiply 9, our outside term, to both terms inside. So 9 times x gives us 9x, plus 9 times 10 gives us 90. Now, when you have variables on both sides, 11x and 9x, I usually use move my smaller one to the other side using inverse operations. So if this is a positive 9x, we will subtract it from both sides. And then let's move left to right in terms of simplifying. So I still have my 10. I know that 11x minus 9x is a positive 2x. These canceled, and then I still have 90 on this side. Now, we've already taken care of our variable terms. We now want to move our constants or our normal numbers to the other side. So if this 10 is positive, to move it over, we just subtract from both sides. We bring down our 2x. Our inequality sign also comes down, and then 90 minus 10 is just 80. Our very last step to get x alone, because it's currently being multiplied to 2, the only way that you can break that 2 away is to divide it by 2, that inverse operation. So we divide both sides by 2, and your answer is x is greater than or equal to 40. But remember, you also have to graph this. You can do this very, very simply, and your book does it the same way. Just put your solution on a number line, and it's saying, okay, all of the numbers that are greater than or equal to, you know that that's going to be a filled in circle, 40. So all of your numbers that are going to be greater are going to be in this direction, like 50, 60, 70, 100. So this is what your graph would look like. Your filled in circle, and then shading all the numbers that are greater than 40. So on your assessment, you'll need this part here, this part here. Next, just word problems for application here. All right, Mrs. LeBan has $21 to go crazy at Taco Bell. Would I actually spend $21 there? Absolutely. Why would I not? They charge $3 per taco. Write and solve an inequality to see the greatest number of tacos that she can buy. So no matter what, she's got $21. Could she spend all $21? Absolutely. Could she spend more than that? No. So it's got to be less than or equal to $21. Now, if it's $3 per taco, we don't know how many that she can buy, so we'll have a variable there, $3 times however many tacos. So this is part one. You wrote the inequality to represent the situation. Now let's solve it and write our answer in context. So to solve this, we just divide both sides by 3, and you get that t is less than or equal to 7. That means to make sure that she doesn't spend more than her $21, she can buy less than or equal to 7 tacos. If this were me, I would buy all 7. That's supposed to be a taco. Yay. All right, almost done. Now, this is the part that we most recently learned with set builder, roster, etc. So let's write this in both roster form and set builder. So it says T is the set of even natural numbers greater than 7. Let's start with roster form. Remember that roster is just listing our numbers. So we start with our set name, which is T. And then we literally just list numbers that could be elements of that set. So it's even natural numbers. Remember, natural, it just means like 1, 2, 3, that are greater than 7. So we could have 8, 10, 12, 14, and so on. Don't forget to include those little dots there to show that that set doesn't just stop there, it can keep going. Now, in set builder, we start with our set name, T, equals, pick a variable, let's do X, tell me the characteristics. So we know that the first characteristic is that the numbers have to be even and natural. So X is even and natural. And then you need the limit there. X has to be greater than 7. So when you're given this description, number 1, you can list the elements in roster form. You start with your set name, you just list elements that could be part of it. In set builder, you've got the set name, your variable, the characteristic or like the property, which is usually like even numbers, natural numbers, odd numbers. And the last part is your limit that's right there. Last thing. Okay, it is asking for all of the subsets of X, Y, and Z. So if you think back to class, we had 8. When we had 3 elements in here, there were 8 different sets. So the first one, we can just list out the entire set, X, Y, Z. There's 1. Then we can list out each individual element, X, Y, Z. Then we can do different combinations. So like X and Y, X and Z, Y and Z. And then your very last one is an empty set. So remember, that's empty set, or we also call that null. So within that little set of just X, Y, and Z, there are 8 different subsets that we can get together. So remember, if you're ever like struggling, you're like, ooh, I don't know if I have all of them. List the entire set by itself. List every single individual element. List every combination. And don't forget about your empty or null set. There's one more topic that I forgot to put on here, so we will just do this on the fly. All right, let's say that in our universal set, we've got numbers 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And set A is 4, 5, and 6. I want to know what the complement of A is. So basically, think back to class when we were drawing those crazy diagrams. So we've got our universal set. We've got set A. And then the complement of A is out here. So we know that 4, 5, and 6 belong inside of here. Okay, so we got 4, 5, and 6. Basically, anything left over, that's 7 and 8, those are just like floating out there. That's the complement of set A because it's not part of that. So all you would just tell me, 7 and 8. Okay, so just a very, very quick recap. For your 3.1 to 3.5 formative, you will have to look at verbal expressions and write those as inequalities. You will have to look at graphs and write the inequality that represents the graph. You will have to solve many multi-step inequalities and graph their solutions. You'll have maybe like 1 or 2 word problems, I can't remember, where you have to write an inequality that describes the situation and then also solve it in context. You will be given some type of description of a set and you will have to list it in roster form and set builder. You will have to tell me as many different subsets that you can make from a given set, like X, Y, and Z. And the last thing is when you have a universal set, and then you're like, okay, these elements are part of set A. What's the complement of set A, etc. All of this is shown in your green study guide that we played with the Jenga game on Wednesday, but make sure that that's done in preparation for your assessment. Watch this video 100,000 times at least. Make sure you like the video, and you can play the asynchronous split-it. Okay, I think that that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends to subscribe. See you later.